everybody. Welcome back to episode 83, Talkoffamepod podcast with your host, Kylie. I'm so excited to have on singer-songwriter Izzy Escobar. Thanks so much for on, Izzy.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you guys today.
I'm so excited to have you on. So you are a singer-songwriter. What made you want to start doing that, basically being part of the music industry? Because for me personally, it's really hard being a woman in the entertainment industry as a whole. So what was kind of your inspiration for basically being part of the music industry?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Being a woman in the industry is a totally different game, and I feel for you on that. It's good that you recognize that now because you're going to be awesome as you get older when you recognize that. So yeah, definitely didn't want to be part of the industry per se, but what I do led me to be part of that industry. So I grew up playing violin, and then the violin allowed me to learn how to songwrite. I started writing lyrics under the sheet music of the violin. And from there, I picked up a little bit of piano and guitar. And I really fell in love with the process of creating music and songwriting. And I especially loved it once I realized that the lyrics you could write could help people, others, and also was an outlet for myself.
I love that. When I was young, I actually played violin as well, so it was something that's familiar. Awesome. How long did you play it for? Did you get lessons on all those things when you were young?
Yeah. So I started when I was 4. And when you first start out with the violin, maybe you remember this. Everyone has a different way of learning, but they give you a box.
Oh yeah. They give you a box.
They give you a box violin first, and you have to work your way up. Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, I did not enjoy practicing.
Yeah.
It was very hard to keep up with it. So my parents kind of pushed me to keep up with it, and I'm really glad that they did.
Yeah, I was for me personally, I literally hated practicing all those things. It was literally so hard. I literally started when I was really young. It only lasted a couple of weeks. So we did for a couple of weeks. I was like, I don't like this thing. I mean, I like playing, but I was like, I don't like this atmosphere. I want to leave.
So it's definitely one of the most difficult instruments, and to keep up with it. So I get that.
Yeah. So what kind of was your inspiration? Kind of with the whole guitar and everything. How did you basically write your songs when you're basically practicing all those things? Did it usually come to you, or you just write them down once you get a lyric or something when you're practicing?
Yeah.
And for me personally, I would, when I'm listening to something, I'm oh, I wish you had this lyric. Or when I play guitar or something, I'm oh, I think I should add this or something. Give advice on something.
That's a talent that you have, because I think it's so cool the way that everyone perceives music differently, right? Mm-hmm. So that's so awesome that you do that. For me, it's I will either pull out my guitar or usually my piano, and I'll start creating some chords that I like, or even just beats on YouTube, and I'll start kind of improving what's on my mind or what I feel, what comes to me with the melodies. Obviously, if it's in major and it's a happy melody, then obviously I'm kind of going to be prone to write something a little bit different and uplifting. Whereas if I go on my piano and start making some minor chords, a different topic might come out. So it definitely depends on the melody. I say I write based on the melody. Yeah.
Yeah, when I'm at my friend's house and she'll have guitars, I don't own a guitar. I will usually go to my friend's house and she'll have guitars, a ukulele, and actual guitar, and I'll usually play it. And I think to myself, this is a good thing to put in a song or something. I will usually come up with things in my head. I'm this is fun to actually do. I can do it. It's actually really fun if you really think about it. On a guitar, and for me personally, I will literally think of things to write in case for an interview or something. I think myself this will be a good thing to say during the interview, or ask someone put in a song or something. This is really fantastic. I really write interviews, write a song down. It's a little script or something.
That's amazing.
Even though I'm the worst writer in the world.
No, you're not. No, you're not. That's not true.
In terms of writing a book, I'm horrible. In terms of writing that.
You're amazing, and you'll get better and better as you get older.
Yeah, for sure. So you like to bring hope and strength to those who may face their own struggles through your music. Why do you think it's so important to kind of show that to today's society?
Good question. See, you're an amazing writer. Look at you writing these questions. Um, well, I think especially after and within when we had the pandemic and we were all inside, I think more than ever, it was a time of isolation.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone felt really isolated, like within their own minds and their own thoughts. And I think more than ever, we need to come together as a community. And there's very few things that I feel like can do that in this world. And one of those things that I think has the power to do that is music. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
one of the few arts that can really bring like masses together, thousands of people under one
Mm-hmm.
roof, or not even under one roof, but you could play a song and it can bring comfort to so many and make us feel connected. So I think now more than ever, especially after the pandemic, it's so important to come together. And the word community is really important for me to know that you're not alone.
Exactly. Like since like the pandemic started, like everyone didn't know what to do. Like the whole world shut down, and we weren't allowed to leave our houses because everyone was like, "Oh, we don't know if it's Corona, the whole thing. Like we don't know. Like we just want to be safe." And that's kind of how my family was too. Like I want you to kind of like stay home and as much as you could. You can go on walks and maybe go for a drive or so, but then like you couldn't leave the house, and it really broke me because I
Yeah,
literally couldn't see my family and do all these things that like you should do in everyday life. I'm sure it was like for like specifically for you as well. Like you couldn't do anything. It
mhm.
really bored me out of my mind. I'm like, I want to actually do something in my life.
That too.
And
Yeah,
like I literally broke down mentally. Like my mental health got really so bad
I
like
know.
during the pandemic because like I was so used to doing all these things for my family. I really miss my family and
Hmm.
all these things. Like I just really wanted my life back to normal. And I was really depressed on that. I was like, can this thing end? Like I didn't know how to help myself because I was like, I can't do anything. Like how am I supposed to help myself if for now that I do anything to being home quarantined? And for every state, like it's really different. Some might not have a lot of cases, but like for me in Pennsylvania, like there were a lot of cases here down in Pennsylvania. So I really couldn't really do anything when the strict restrictions were all over the place and everything. So I'm like sick of this. Like my anxiety and depression got like an all-time high. I was fast crying myself to sleep every day. Like it was horrible. And like I was like, I'm done with this. I'm like, I quit. Like I just hate it. I'm like, I need to actually do something with my life. Like I was
I
like sick of
know.
it.
Well, I think you're such a strong woman for getting through that.
Oh, thank you. Like, did you ever have an experience during the pandemic? Like you would kind of felt like, oh crap, like this is horrible. Like I want to do something.
Course. Of course. I mean, I think everyone got to a point where it was really hard on mental health. And it, like I said, it was a very isolating time, I feel like, for a lot of people, especially because, I wasn't, there was a time when I was away from my family as well. And it was scary. It was difficult. There was a lot of unknown factors.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that that was the moment where I really threw myself into my music because it was like the only thing really keeping me afloat. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm forever grateful to like it's cool how like people have different outlets. Like this
Mm-hmm.
is such a cool outlet that you get to talk and bring representation to women in the industry. That's so amazing. And
Thank you.
I don't know about you, but like it brings me hope that there's people
Mm-hmm.
doing stuff like that, and it brought me hope that I was able to write music in the sense
Mm-hmm.
that maybe that could help someone else. So
Yeah,
that's what I
exactly.
did during that time, and I think it was we everyone learned to make the best out of their situation. I think it was a really beautiful moment.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's how I was kind of similar. Like I started my podcast late in the pandemic. And so
Hmm.
I was like, maybe I can actually bring hope for myself and make me myself happy and bring others and help bring others to feel good about themselves during the pandemic. Because like obviously a lot of people were depressed and having anxiety. Like you couldn't really do anything. Like you couldn't see your loved ones, and especially like all my loved ones live around me. Like I live about like 20 minutes away from me at least. So I was like, I really just want to go down, drive down to your house and be like, hey, how you doing? This is have a good chat. But like I really couldn't do that because my family wanted to be safe. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is kind of not possible for me to do. So I need to actually find something for me to do to help me kind of cope with everything. And he's like at first I really couldn't handle it. I was like, I want to see my family. Like I don't care what I need to do to see my family. I just want to do it. And so I was like, let's start the podcast. Like I was like, I need to do something. So I'm like, I should start the podcast and actually bring hope to actual people. Because when I was young, like I never had an inspiration. I never saw myself on screen or anything felt represented. Because when I was young, I was a very shy girl. I had very bad anxiety and everything. So I was like, I never felt represented or anything. And so if I really want to change that as I get older, I still not never found inspiration as like a 15-year-old girl on screen and everything. Of course, I have inspirations I look up to and everything, obviously, but like not like people that I saw myself like as normal with, I'll say. Like I never saw someone be like, "Oh my God, this person's literally me," in.
Oh, I know. Well, what's cool is that there's so many younger girls who now you're going to inspire, and like luckily they have you now to look up to. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So like, it's really cool that you get to change your own narrative and the narrative of a lot of other people. So good for you.
Oh my God,
You're
thank
doing
you. So like you have like recently came out with a song called "Alone," is that right?
Yeah, I came out with it a bit ago. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So what was your inspiration writing that and everything?
That one. So it was actually, yeah, it was during the pandemic. It was the first song that I released just on my own. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna release a song in the middle of the pandemic. I created a little studio in the basement of my dad's house. We have a closet in the basement, and we like boarded it up because I just wanted to start releasing my music on my own. And the inspiration for that, I was just going through my feels, honestly. It was about a breakup, and everyone always has like their reason for breaking up, and this person's reason was that they just wanted to be alone. But
Mhm.
uh, the way that I worded it, they ended up not being alone. They were alone with someone, with another girl. It was just a post breakup feels song. I feel like I needed to get it out for myself for healing purposes, and it was cool though because once I did, so many other girls reached out to me and they were like, "Oh my gosh, I went through the same thing with my last breakup." They said the same exact thing. So it was a cool understanding that we had after the fact.
Yeah, it's really awesome. Like it's really crazy, kind of like a crazy world to think like, oh my God, people are actually connecting to my music.
Oh, it's my favorite thing. It's really what keeps me going, honestly, because
Yeah,
like
as same here. Like when people reach out to me about the podcast and everything, I'm like, this is literally what I do for a living. Like this is the reason why I do it. Because like if like once I see like I'm impacting people with the podcast, no matter what I'm doing or saying or what episode I'm putting out, like I can easily just pull out like a stupid thing and I'm already impacting people. Like it's just like a crazy world thing. Like oh my God, I'm actually impacting a lot of people around me, even people that I don't personally know exactly. Like there's probably people that most of the people that listen to podcasts I don't exactly know. So I'm like, this is really crazy because like, when I was young, I hated public speaking. I was so shy. I'm like,
that's
people are like,
surprising
why are
because
you
you
public
come across
speaking
as
like
shy at
on your
all.
podcast? I'm like, I don't exactly know how I'm public speaking exactly. I'm just playing an episode out for people to see. Like,
That's so funny because you do not come across as shy at all. Like you seem like an incredible public speaker. So
oh
you
my
seem
God,
really
really?
why it seems. But yeah, I definitely agree. It's like we were talking about in the beginning. This industry is not the most amazing or supportive necessarily, but by doing what we love and then hearing like the impacts that you can have within other people and coming together as a community and bringing others hope, it kind of makes it all worth it, you know? So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
it's how we can keep going.
Exactly. I really couldn't agree on that more. And so how has like songwriting helped you mentally in terms of like mental health, especially during this kind of pandemic?
It helped me a lot with like I said, an outlet and to express what was going on internally for me. I'm talking for me is harder than writing music. Writing music,
Hmm.
it's like there's no barriers and I can just say what I want. And I feel like with chords in the back and instruments in the back, I can really emphasize those thoughts more so than talking. And
Hmm.
it allows me to not keep them in my head. I can put them out somewhere in like a tangible way.
Hmm.
And I also was really shy as a kid growing up. I definitely was shy more so like in social settings, like in
Yeah, that was
school and stuff.
I. Yeah.
I was really, really shy. Not really around like my family. Like I was, Izzy around my family, but I
Hmm.
remember the moments like coming home from school and I would go inside my closet and like shut the door and just sit on the floor of my closet and just like write. And
Wow.
I was really young. I think I was probably like 6 or 7, and I like vividly remember doing that. And that was like the moment when I was like, oh wow, I can have like a voice. Like I feel like I
Hmm.
felt really voiceless because I was so shy.
Yeah, me too.
And then I was like, oh my gosh, now I feel like I can have a voice in some way. And then as you get older, you gain confidence to like share those words.
Yeah.
So mentally, it really helped me feel like I had a voice and then
Hmm.
amplify other voices. So yeah, it definitely helps to express yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's how I was when I was a young girl. Like I was a very shy around a lot of people that I was around. It's like not really around my closest family. I was like
Yeah,
shy around, but I guess people I don't really talk to. I'm like, hi, like, uh,
exactly.
I don't know what to say. Like I didn't have confidence in myself. As a young girl living in a small town in Pennsylvania, I had no confidence whatsoever. I literally couldn't find my passion in anything. I was like, how am I supposed to find confidence in myself if I can't find
Absolutely.
anything that I'm passionate about doing? Until I started this podcast, and I'm like, I think I grew my confidence up a little bit. And it's like during the first episode, like I was like, how am I supposed to kind of start this whole podcast? Like, if
Mhm.
I'm still not gonna have confidence in myself as a 14-year-old girl back then. I was like, how, like, I was basically self conscious about it. I was like,
Yeah.
how is a girl like me supposed to start a podcast? Is if
Mm.
I'm not confident myself, I'm a shy girl. Like, how is that even possible for me to do? And so I was like, if I really want to grow my confidence, I might as well do something to overstep myself and make pressure on myself to make myself more
It's so amazing that like a lot of it takes a long time to realize that. Like you're so young, and the fact that you realize and understand like sometimes throwing yourself into the fire into like uncomfortable situations can really help you grow. That's so
confident.
incredible. And at the end of the day, like I get the self-conscious thing, right? Because there's so much judgment. Like
Yeah.
everyone is going to judge you. People are always going to say things about you.
Hmm.
And you have to realize that like you know who you are and you're doing what you love, and who cares what someone is going to say to judge you? You're doing the right thing, and you're making these incredible moves in the industry at such a young age. Like, go
Hmm.
you! You're doing such a great job.
Oh my god, that's all you. Like seriously. Like I like when I've done it without all these people that have been on a podcast. Like
Yes,
if
you're
no
kidding.
one actually said yes, I'll be like, oh, I'm going home. Especially at 15 years old, people are like, why am I going to be interviewed by a 13-year-old girl? Like,
No, you're. Who cares what your age is? You're so cool and so wise, and yeah.
oh my god, thank you. So, like, what kind of inspires you to kind of like write your music? Like personal experiences or anything that kind of inspires you to kind of write it?
People like you. Yeah, I mean, having conversations with people and having people open up to me or honestly, long answer short, everything inspires me. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely pull from a lot of personal experience because like I said, writing is like an outlet for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I can, write about what I'm going through. But secondary, others, what
Mm-hmm.
others are going through, like the whole pandemic, the isolation that we felt. I wrote this song called 1985, and the first
Mm-hmm.
lyric is, I've been boxed up by these walls. And it was like a universal line, not just for me, but thinking about everyone else being locked inside their house. So
Mm-hmm.
that inspires me. So others inspire me. My personal experiences inspire me. And sometimes it'll just be a spur of the moment. Like I'll be on a walk and I'll see, you know, just something beautiful and it sparks something. I think it's so beautiful to be inspired by everything, good
Yeah,
and
that's how I am. Like, once when I really see a TV show, like, when I literally need inspiration, I literally just dive into the TV show or like a book or something to get inspiration.
yeah,
It's really
inspiration.
so easy.
It's all around us, and that's a really beautiful thing that I think I probably took for granted for a while. But once
Hmm.
I realized you can pull inspiration from everything, it's quite an amazing feeling.
Yeah, for sure. So, like, do you like have anyone they look up to as a singer songwriter, or just in general? Do you have anyone? Do you have anyone they look up to as like a person in the industry, stuff like that?
Absolutely. I do look up to a lot of women just
Mhm.
because it's really inspiring to see women who are like go-getters and have really paved a way in the industry
Mhm.
for us to come through. So
Yeah.
the one that I look up to in terms of like singing, I've always been a huge fan of, Mariah, Whitney Houston,
Mhm.
Aretha Franklin, um, Lady Gaga is like a more modern example.
Yeah, like all the oldie people, like all the oldies
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then in terms of writing, I really love Joni Mitchell
Hmm.
and Bernie Taupin, who he's a guy, but he's awesome too in terms of lyrics. Yeah,
I love that. Like, did you ever hear of what you call it, Gina Davis?
I think so.
Like, she's an actress, and like that's like a good example for a woman in terms of that. Oh my god, she's a Kodak face favorite guy. You're talking was so loud, but like she's an actress. She was some in amazing movies like A League of Their Own and some of
Hmm.
those big movies or whatever, Beetlejuice and stuff like that. And like in 2004, she launched her own organization called Gina Davis Institute on Media. What based off her daughter, like her daughter, like she was watching like children's films with her daughter, and like she saw no representation of women, no men are doing all these roles that women should be doing as well and all these stuff. So she started this organization back in 2004, and it's about bringing equality to children's media, entertainment industry, to talk to creators and to bring more representation to media. And like she tells all of them, like, can a woman do that? Like, can a woman be a politician, a lawyer, like all these things? He's like, I'm spring, like I saw these say these things as well to my mother as well. I'm like, do you think that a woman can be a superhero? Do you think a woman can be a lawyer? And I really should be saying those things to my mom, exactly. But like that's something that I see and snap. Like I'm like I should teach my mom this. My mom should be teaching this to me exactly. And like that's how like aware I am with it because of Gina's Institute and all that. And I'm really and to be honest with you, this is my first time I ever saying this on my podcast. But
Hmm.
I'm creating this organization where I can't say too much about it. Like I'm creating this organization currently right now that is basically going to help um young girls and women in the industry, nonprofit organization where it's going to help bring all these young girls and women together and to bring more representation and to bring more girls and women to feel more inspired by the female characters, like women in sports, politics, industry, children's media, and all these things where I do like events, research, like spotlights, blog, and all these things, and all of that stuff to help spotlight all these women and girls.
Wow, that's amazing. See, we need more people like you to
Oh
do
my
that.
god.
That's,
Thank
I
you.
mean, that's absolutely incredible. And women are just so strong. They're warriors.
Mm,
You know, we go through a lot, and women are just beautiful all around.
mm,
And I think it's so awesome that you're doing that, and you want to share more of women's stories and show more representation of that. Actress that I love is Audrey Hepburn, and
mm.
I think she is definitely a big. I just actually watched Breakfast at Tiffany's for the first
Oh my
time.
god, really?
Yeah, and
I've
I
never
know, right?
seen it. I've never seen it, but I heard it's really good. Like I heard of it a million times.
You should watch it. And I think one of the reasons I loved it was because she was so like unapologetically herself as a woman,
Mm-hmm.
and like she's just so boss and
Mm-hmm.
awesome. And she has this quote, and it basically says like the word impossible is split up really just means I'm possible. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it's such a inspiration to keep sharing women's stories who tell you that you can do it whatever it is that you want. You can do whatever a man does in the industry, if not
Mm-hmm.
outdo it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love what you're trying to share. It's perfect.
Thank you. Like, have you seen the Titanic actually?
Yes.
Yeah. Like I literally just started watching it yesterday. I never seen it in my life.
You've never seen Titanic? Oh, it's
No. I
kind of.
started watching it a little bit yesterday. I've been dying to see it, but it's on Netflix. I'm like, I gotta watch it
Oh,
now.
it's on Netflix now. Oh, I'll have
Yeah.
to watch it.
It's on Netflix now. I'm like, I'm always watching now. I never seen it, but I always wanted to. It's literally so like a historic film
Yeah, it's a
since like when
classic.
it came out and everything.
Yeah, it's a classic for sure.
And so if you could like work with any singer-songwriter, who would it be in terms of like music writing or whatever?
Ah, that's difficult. Like in terms of like a vocal collaboration, I definitely would say Lady Gaga, just because.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how she's also now in like the jazz realm. Tony
Mm-hmm.
Bennett, like I just love her.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of lyric collaboration, there's so many great lyricists. Uh, this is kind of a funny one, but lyrically, I really love the lyric style of Anthony Kiedis. He's
Mm-hmm.
the singer of Red Hot Chili Peppers. And I just love the way that he writes. It's very abstract, but it tells a story collectively. So probably him.
Yeah,
Would be cool.
yeah. Like I'm the same way. Like for me, it's so hard. Is when
Yeah.
people say who's your favorite episode that you had, like a favorite guest. I'm like, how am I supposed to choose an episode? But with that many episodes I have out, like how am I supposed to choose a favorite guest?
Yeah, right. And like the thing about that is what you start to realize is everyone's mind is so unique and different,
Mm-hmm.
the way that everyone's mind works. So lyrically, there's so many different styles out there.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone has such a beautiful mind and thinks in different ways.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's really cool because, you'll get a different way of writing with everyone.
Yeah, exactly. There's like a person that does like there's someone that's maybe doing something different with their lives. That's like a life coach or creates organization. Like there's always someone different that's so similar in one place.
Yeah.
And so like the final question is what's the advice to like younger generation who want to kind of be like a singer songwriter one day or be in the music industry?
Good question. I think that two takeaways. The first one is to, in terms of singing and singing songwriting, follow follow your intuition and write what feels good to you. Don't try to like compare yourself to the different writing styles, because whatever comes out of you naturally, like we talked about different ways of writing, that's you. So just
Mm-hmm.
own it. It's a process, so enjoy the journey. It's a big one. Enjoy the journey. And the
Mm-hmm.
second thing is that nothing is impossible. So even if
Exactly.
the dream seems so far ahead of you, it's, oh, how do I achieve what I want to achieve? It's not impossible with hard work, determination, and a little bit of blind faith, having to just throw yourself into the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's impossible. Absolutely go for what your dream is. Life is way too short not to. So that's my advice.
Exactly. Like there's a dream that you is never too high or never too low.
Never.
Like seriously, like I always really dreamed of meeting some of my idols. I literally just met one of them a couple weeks ago. And I'm
Oh,
thinking to myself like how like you think like oh these dreams are not actually gonna happen till it actually happens. Like you really had to work for it. Even though like I
yes,
worked for so many things and I worked my butt off for it and everything, like there's always a good thing that really comes out of it. Exactly.
absolutely. Yeah. Hard work is important. It's not just gonna like poof magically appear, but if you
Yeah.
believe in it and you work hard, it will come.
Exactly. And so thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It was so great to speak with you. I could really speak to you all day about everything. And so it was
Oh,
so great speaking with you. And you're so amazing. Keep doing what you're doing. And we'll definitely keep in touch for sure. And what's your social so where everyone can follow you?
I am at Izzy dot Escobar, Escobar. And thank you for having me, Kylie. You are such an inspiration to me. And thank you so much for your purpose in this world and for having such a voice. I feel really, really honored to be interviewed by you.
Oh my God, thanks so much. I really need the world. And everyone go follow her on her socials. She really deserves the world and everything. So thank you
Oh,
so much. I feel so inspired by what you're doing and where you are and everything. So thank you so much. It was such an honor to speak with you and everything.
back at you.
Thank you so much. So we'll definitely see you soon for sure. Talk to you soon.
Yeah.